This video flashing on your screen is not an accident. Archangel Michael needs to interrupt you now. Are you finally ready to listen? Don't skip. Open immediately. It is no coincidence that, at this very hour, this video has pierced through the noise of your scrolling. It is no glitch. No accident. You may have shrugged it off as another late-night distraction, a flicker on your screen amidst countless notifications. But hear this now. Heaven does not flash without purpose. And tonight, Archangel Michael has stepped into the veil between dimensions, breaking rank to reach you. He interrupts what was supposed to continue. And if your spirit has been restless lately, if you've kept waking at 3:33 a.m., clutching your chest, staring at the ceiling, or if your prayers have been echoing back with silence, then this moment is not random. It is rescue. This is the 11th hour before sunrise, the final watch of the night, the threshold moment when destinies are decided, where spiritual alignments either come into order or fall into further delay. Heaven has chosen this sliver of time because someone reading this is standing at a razor-thin crossroads. You feel it in your relationships, in your finances, in your calling. You've been hearing the subtle sound of doors creaking open or slamming shut, and your spirit hath been whispering, something is shifting. And now Michael has come, sword drawn, to confirm, yes, you are being called to choose. This message is not for the scoffer, not for the casual observer. This is not for the one still flirting with doubt, for the one too busy to be still. This is a divine dispatch for the one who feels passed over, for the tired leader who has smiled through betrayal, for the quiet prayer warrior who has wept in secret and wondered if God still sees. Yes, you. The one who asked for a sign. The one who dared to whisper, "Send me confirmation." Now confirmation has found you. Hear this with holy gravity. Responding to this moment brings mercy and alignment. Ignoring it may bring delay. This is not to instill fear, but to stir holy urgency. What you are feeling right now, the pressure, the ache, the pull, is not anxiety. It is spiritual summons. Michael has pierced the veil, and heaven is leaning close. If you want to hear what comes next, silence must come first. So close the other tabs. Dim the lights. Sit in stillness. Listen for the sound of wings, the whisper of wind, the warmth that settles in your chest like fire and oil. Let this prophetic line grip your soul. If you've been waiting for proof, proof has found you. Only the ones who linger will receive the calibration of their next season. Only the ones who yield will hear what others will miss. This message is for the weary, the wondering, the watchful. It's for the one who's still standing but silently unraveling. It's for the soul that can't afford to miss this next divine step. So I say to you now, listen as though your life depends on it. Because in the spirit it does. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. Pause. Breathe. Do not rush past this moment. For the next 120 seconds, I charge you. Answer only in silence. Close your eyes if you must. Still your body. Quiet the noise. Turn the screen light low and surrender the compulsion to multitask. The spirit is hovering, and the atmosphere around you is shifting. Now hear this. Michael, Prince of Hosts, Guardian of the Throne, Commander of Heaven's armies, Defender of the righteous, stands summoned not by your alarm, but by heaven's decree. This moment was scheduled in the spirit long before you clicked. It is a divine breach, an interruption orchestrated by heaven to confront what earth could not correct. And now, you have entered the moment of intersection. By sunrise, something will shift. By midnight tonight, a door you thought was sealed will creak again. There is a spiritual appointment unfolding right now, and this video, this flash of light on your screen, is your official summons into sacred strategy. You clicked. This is not a coincidence. You were led. Heaven tracked your steps. You didn't just scroll here. You were drawn here. Every tab you closed, every thought that urged you to move along, even that resistance was known. And Michael has crossed into this moment not to entertain, but to extract. He speaks now with the fire that melts chains and the calm that stills storms. Rise now. Do not barter your peace for their approval. Did you hear that? Read it again. That is not a suggestion. It is a command. Michael does not speak softly when destinies hang in balance. His voice cuts like lightning and moves like thunder. The words carry weight. They shatter illusion. They demand decision. Here's what you must do now. Step away from every distraction. For 30 seconds, turn your gaze upward. Whisper the name of the one you trust most. Offer a online surrender. Say it aloud or whisper it in your heart. I am ready. Speak, Lord. For when Archangel Michael enters, he does not arrive alone. He carries heavenly writs, scrolls of assignment, swords of separation, shields of protection. He moves with the authority of Daniel 10, where he withstood principalities and opened understanding to the prophet. He breaks delays. He severs demonic cords. He interrupts cycles. And now he has come for you. But listen closely. Where there is movement from heaven, there will be noise from the enemy. Even now, there are voices whispering, pulling, tempting you to dismiss this as coincidence. There will be hands that pull, tongues that accuse, doubts that roar. But tonight, an intervention cuts the cord. Tonight, Michael descends with sword drawn and eyes like fire, to break what has tried to bind your mind, your calling, your next step. But know this too, not all will receive. This message is not for the casual. If you are here to be entertained or merely informed, step away now. There is spiritual discomfort ahead for those who are not ready to obey. This message is for the ones who are willing to let go, who are willing to be led, who are ready to listen. And you will feel it, the clash of metal in the air, the echo of a trumpet in the spirit, and then a river of peace washing over your brow. You have two paths before you. You can scroll past and miss the assignment, or you can stay and be fortified. Speak it aloud now if your spirit agrees. I will listen. Say it again. Not to me, but to the realm that is watching. I will listen. Michael now stands at the foot of your bed, at the doorway of your office, at the bargaining table of your heart. He waits, not for approval, but for your alignment. Heaven speaks. Will you stay long enough to hear? Type I am listening in the comments if you feel this in your spirit. Blessing code 777 is now released over your home. You've been sensing it, haven't you? That unspoken tension beneath your skin. A strange weight in your chest. the silent suspicion in your spirit. This isn't just imagination. This is spiritual interference, and Archangel Michael has come to uncover it. There's been a whisper in the hallway of your mind, a flicker of shadow just past your vision, a subtle betrayal wearing the disguise of politeness. Someone close but off. A smile that doesn't quite meet the eyes. A conversation that ends too quickly when you walk into the room. The text that never came. The call that suddenly stopped. Listen. You are not paranoid. You are discerning. Your unease is not dysfunction. It is divine intelligence. Michael says, what you're sensing isn't new, it's just now being revealed. The watchers have gathered. Years have been drinking your name. Behind closed doors, in hushed group chats, in offices that pretend they're holy. They are listening, not to understand, but to distort. There are those around you, not possessed, but positioned, to extract what they did not pay for, to siphon what they did not sow. These are not just human conspirators. These are puppets of a darker influence, whispering false peace while planning subtle sabotage. Who has been pricking your peace? Who speaks on the vine but bears no fruit in the open? Some of you are dealing with financial sabotage, unexplainable shortages, withheld promotions, resources that slip just beyond your grasp. Others are experiencing relational triangulation, people turning against you, not because of truth, but because of perception planted in poison. And some of you have been undermined in rooms you've never entered. Plans altered without your knowledge. Favor delayed because of whispered lies. They think they know something, but they do not know everything. What they don't know is that the oil of heaven has marked you, that a prophetic thread has been woven around your life, and every scheme they've attempted to orchestrate is about to unravel. The body speaks when the spirit is being tested. The insomnia you fought, the sudden spikes of anxiety, the repeating déjà vu, the stomach knot that rises during certain conversations. These are alarms, not illnesses. Heaven is using your biology to amplify your discernment. Do not ignore these signs, the missed messages, the misplaced letters, the silence when you expected support, the laughter that felt off, the apology that seemed too polished, the praise that felt hollow. There's more at play than malice. There are mechanisms, spiritual wires and invisible levers, at work. Half-truths have been weaponized. Misaligned words have been spread like wildfire, clothed in Christian-sounding concern. Secrets are being kept, not for wisdom's sake, but for power. So here is what you must do. Take a pen. Write down 3 recent disappointments. Now ask yourself, who benefits from this truth staying hidden? That answer is your clue. That answer is your exposure. But don't move in anger. Move in clarity. Because there is more here than betrayal. There is positioning. Michael has drawn his sword not just to cut the ties, but to unlock the hidden door behind it. What looks like sabotage is actually spiritual separation. What feels like loss is an unmasking. You are being delivered from, but also being drawn to. Heaven does not just sever, it repositions. There is something holy behind the tension, something sacred inside the disruption. And Michael stands now, not only to shield, but to reveal. Stay watchful. Stay silent. Heaven is still speaking. Type I am anointed in the comments if this part pierced you. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. If this word is reaching your spirit and you feel the fire of confirmation, it means you're one of the ones heaven is raising, not just for your own breakthrough, but to help unlock others. This message isn't just content. It's a spiritual trumpet. And your support helps this sound reach more ears. When you sow into a word like this, you become part of the harvest, not just for yourself, but for the thousands who will hear and awaken. Give, and it shall be given unto you. This is not metaphor. This is movement. Your generosity breaks cycles, opens rivers, and ignites divine exchanges. I feel led to say this. If you've been looking for good soil, you found it here. You can support this mission through Super Thanks, YouTube membership, or directly through the PayPal link in the video description. The oil flows fastest where obedience is instant. Support like a prophet. Give like a warrior. Sow like a child of the King. Heaven sees it, and heaven multiplies it. Now rise. This is your time. You've been fighting battles lately that don't make sense on the surface. Arguments that come out of nowhere. Conversations that spiral. People who twist your words, question your motives, or withdraw their support with no explanation. It feels petty, doesn't it? Like emotional warfare with no clear purpose. But I tell you now, what looks petty is actually prophetic. What seems like personal offenses, in reality, a targeted spiritual test. This is not random resistance. It is refinement. You are not weak. You are not dramatic. You are being sharpened. The warfare is not because you're failing. It's because you're marked. The enemy doesn't waste time on those without promise. You are marked for purpose, and the pressure is proof. It's not just the enemy you're facing. It's also heaven, allowing certain fires to rise so that what's impure can be burned away, so that what's fake can no longer cling to what's real. Archangel Michael wants you to see through new eyes, to lift the veil off the faces around you and realize that not every person who wounds you is your enemy. Some are tools of testing. Some are blind instruments, used unknowingly to draw something deeper out of you. And some are simply assigned friction, meant to grind off what cannot go with you into your next season. There's a difference between the enemy's attack and heaven's training. The enemy comes to wound, but heaven allows the conflict to forge. Your calling is too critical, your voice too potent, your anointing too heavy, to enter the next level unrefined. So the shaking is not punishment. It is preparation. And how you respond in this moment, that's where the real war is waged. If you panic, you'll bleed where you were supposed to be healed. If you lash out, you'll create wounds where you were meant to carry wisdom. But if you pause, if you stay still, stay low, stay obedient, you'll find that heaven surrounds you, that angels are watching, that the court of heaven is recording your restraint. Michael stands with sword in hand, not to chase every accuser from your life, but to fortify your discernment, so you'll no longer be surprised when the war comes. He is building something in you that cannot be shaken. And in the midst of the chaos, the prayers you whispered, the decrees you declared, even the silence you've held, all of it has not gone unnoticed. It is working. It is rearranging the unseen. You thought your silence meant surrender. But in the spirit, Your silence has been a weapon. Every time you refused to retaliate. Every time you chose to fast instead of speak. Every time you praised while bleeding, you moved angels. You aligned atmospheres. You broke demonic permissions and shut legal access to the enemy. This is spiritual warfare. And now you are learning to fight like royalty, not like victims, not like orphans. You are learning the strategies of the kingdom, boundary setting, true speaking, discernment-driven delay, and surrendering judgment to the courts of heaven. So when the pressure comes, speak what is holy. Declare what is true. When tongues rise against you, say this: the Lord rebuke you. My story is not in their mouths. When betrayal knocks, say, heaven sees. I will not trade my peace for revenge. And when confusion swirls, whisper, Michael, guard my gate. Jesus be my voice. The divine reversal is not reaction. It is redirection. Let them plot. Let them talk. Let them assume. Heaven is watching, and heaven will respond in time. Let me tell you a story. A woman once stood falsely accused by those who shared her table. She wept in silence, said nothing in public, and waited. Months later, the very person who slandered her came asking for mercy, exposed by their own web. Why? Because heaven defends those who refuse to defend themselves prematurely. You are not at the end. You are at the edge. This tension is not destruction. It is the calibration of your next assignment. Heaven is refining your reactions so you will be able to carry greater responsibility without retaliation. You are being trusted with silence. You are being entrusted with strategy. Type I will not retaliate in the comments if this word resonates in your spirit. Blessing code 1919 is now activated to guard your responses. Sound the alarm. Let the watchmen lift their eyes. Let the intercessors prepare their tongues. Within the next 72 hours, a plot will accelerate. Hidden motives will rise from shallow silence, and what has been crawling in the shadows will attempt to stand in full light. This is not to bring fear. This is to prepare the spiritually awake, the ones heaven interrupts, the ones like you. You will notice a change in tone. Conversations that were once vague will become pointed. Doors that seemed sealed will creak, but not all of them are from God. Invitations will come, but not all are assignments. Some are traps dressed in opportunity. Some are counterfeits, timed precisely to force you to choose comfort over calling, distraction over discernment, pressure over peace. Expect last-minute meetings, unexpected emails, and people who had vanished for months suddenly resurfacing. This is the acceleration of a plot, a boiling of a spiritual recipe, and the final ingredient is being stirred. The cooks have been hiding their plan, but the last boil always brings out the flavor, and the bitterness will rise. Do not be surprised when things feel like they're speeding up without explanation. The urgency you're feeling in your body, the tightness in your chest, the quickened breath, the subtle restlessness, it's not anxiety. It's prophetic awareness. The Spirit is letting your body echo what your discernment has already picked up. Pressure is building, not to destroy you but to position you. Michael says, guard the threshold. Don't make permanent decisions in temporary pressure. Yours is a narrow window of response. You must not react in fear. You must fortify your spirit, speak over your space, and return to the quiet place of authority. This is the hour of strategic restraint. Just because you feel the pull does not mean you move. This is the moment where stillness becomes a sword. Write things down. Document every shift. Save messages. Take note of phone calls. Lean on to spiritual witnesses, those who walk in discernment and speak in obedience. You must not walk through this next door alone. And hear this clearly. Do not make legal, financial, or relational moves without spiritual counsel in this window. The enemy is crafty. He comes as an angel of light, not always to destroy, but to distract. He offers premature promises that feel like breakthroughs, but they carry fine print laced in spiritual delay. Michael has come to offer clarity, not full revelation, but enough light for your next step. You will be given signs, not maps. Clues, not blueprints. That is intentional. Heaven is requiring trust. What is being birthed in your life must be protected by obedience, not overexposure. Here is your riddle. The one who asked for your weakness will soon be exposed by their own question. Let that settle into your spirit. There is a divine reversal underway, but it will only manifest if you resist the bait of premature validation. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Your silence is setting the trap. Be wary of sudden kindness. Not every smooth apology is sincere. The serpent doesn't always hiss. Sometimes it flatters. And not every reconnected relationship is meant to be resurrected. Discern the fruit, not just the words. Anoint your home. Read aloud Psalm 91. Declare that no plot formed against you shall prosper. Invite Michael to stand watch at every gate, physical, emotional, and digital. Heaven is not asking you to fight this in the flesh. You are not called to expose the plan. You are called to outlast it. Prepare, but do not pursue. Let heaven move first. Type "I will not rush" in the comments if you hear this word. Blessing Code 2020 is now covering your next step. Now that the warning has sounded, you must shift your posture, from alert to anchored, from reactive to fortified. This is your moment to be still. Not passive stillness, but powerful stillness. The kind that confuses the enemy. The kind that invites divine interference. Heaven fights when you stop swinging at shadows. Heaven wars when you sit in obedience. Be still and know that I am God. This is not a suggestion. It is a battle strategy. And Archangel Michael has not come to merely inform you. He has come to shield you. But heaven's shield is not something you stumble into. It's something you align with. And now is the time to align everything. Your environment, your voice, your circle, your actions. Start here. Create a window of quiet for the next 24 hours. Pull back from social media noise. Minimize your digital exposure. Let heaven be the loudest voice in your atmosphere. This isn't about being antisocial. It's about being spiritually focused. You cannot hear angelic instruction while scrolling through spiritual pollution. Speak less publicly. Not everything God reveals is for public consumption. What you whisper in secret now will be shouted from the mountaintops later. Let the silence speak for you. Every time you choose not to answer a baited text, you dismantle the trap. Every time you withhold your name from a gossiping conversation, you remove your signature from the devil's agenda. Michael now lifts his shield, and here is the decree to place beneath it. I call upon the shield of Michael. I cloak my name in heaven's authority. Every whisper of harm, every word sent in shadow, returns to sender by the command of the Lord of hosts. I am hidden under holy covering. Amen. You must now engage in spiritual hygiene. Wipe the residue of past warfare from your soul. Delete old contexts that open old wounds. Clear the clutter from your mind and your fee. Change passwords. Anoint your doorposts with oil and say aloud, no darkness crosses this threshold. No false peace lives here. I am sealed. This is not paranoia. This is preparedness. God is calling you into a posture of humility, vigilance, and firm expectancy. This is not the time to be frantic. This is not the time to second-guess every move. This is the time to trust that obedience builds barriers the enemy cannot cross. If the pressure becomes too loud, ground yourself. Take 3 slow breaths. Place your hand over your heart and speak this aloud. I am shielded. I am seen. I am sealed. You are not alone in this moment. You are being invited into sacred rhythm, where every act of stillness is a declaration of trust. Take oil and anoint the entry points of your home, the front door, your workspace, even your digital devices. Say simply, I mark this space for heaven. Let nothing enter that is not from the Lord. Do not overlook the small acts of faith. Give quietly. Worship softly in the morning. Refuse to speak fear aloud. These choices may seem insignificant, but they alter the frequency of your atmosphere. You're not just surviving this season, you're reframing it. And heaven is responding. This is not a time for isolation. Call on one trusted friend or spiritual leader. Share this word with them. Invite them to cover you in prayer. 2 are better than 1, and right now, your shield is being forged in agreement. Here is your command for the next 72 hours. Speak only what aligns with heaven. Move only in the rhythm of trust. Write down everything. Listen more than you speak. And watch how protection forms around you like a hedge of fire. Repeat this declaration morning and night. Heaven surrounds me. I will not bow to fear. I walk covered, calm, and consecrated. Hebelog. Record your dreams. Take note of strange confirmations. The Lord is speaking through patterns. This is more than protection. This is precision. And your obedience is the signal heaven is waiting for. Type I am shielded in the comments if you are taking this moment seriously. Blessing code 3030 is now circling your home and mind. Here it is. The moment the atmosphere bends, the tongue shifts. The sword is no longer only for protection. It is now for promotion. The veil of warning lifts, and what was meant to crush you becomes the very proof that you survived what others would have surrendered to. This is your turning. This is your empowerment. You are not who they think you are anymore. They saw you as weak because you stayed silent. They mistook your stillness for passivity. They assumed your quietness meant retreat. But heaven has been rebuilding your spine in silence, reinforcing your identity behind closed doors, whispering your name in the secret places while the world mispronounced your worth. They thought they knew you. But who you were is no longer who you were. Let this echo in your soul. Heaven has promoted you before earth could confirm you. The victim cloak is being burned. That identity is not yours anymore. The days of explaining yourself are over. The days of begging to be understood have expired. You will no longer shrink to fit the rooms God is calling you to reform. You are not under review. You are under release. And Michael now escorts you from defense into dominion. Think of it. They underestimated the one who kept serving while grieving. The one who kept sowing while starving. The one who prayed for others while bleeding in secret. The one who never retaliated. Heaven took notice. And now, the crown is descending. You are not the same person who cried last month. You are not the same one who wrestled in August. That person died in the midnight intercession. That person transformed in the fiery silence. His version of you is forged. Ready. Calibrated. Dangerous to darkness. The throne room has released new imagery over you. I see wings forming behind your back. Not angelic wings of flight, but prophetic wings of elevation. Your perspective is rising. Your boundaries are firm. Your voice carries weight now, not because it's loud, but because it's backed by heaven. You are being seated in rooms where your silence speaks louder than their noise. It's time to reclaim what was buried under survival. Reclaim your schedule. Reclaim your sleep. Reclaim your words. Speak one truth aloud each morning. Say something heaven has whispered over you, and let it frame your day. Then accept the next assignment quietly. Don't announce it. Don't explain it. Just obey. Heaven will promote what hell cannot see. Let the lives of others remind you. Joseph rose after betrayal. Esther stood after silence. David ruled after hiding. These were not myths. These were moments. And your moment is no less divine. What tried to break you only revealed what couldn't be broken. Say this now. I am not being punished. I am being promoted. Stand tall. Speak slowly. Walk with the weight of one who carries unseen scrolls. The enemy knows who you are now. And so does heaven. You wear the mantle of brave mercy and unshakable peace. You are no longer reactive. You are reformed. You do not flinch at conflict. You do not beg for belonging. You move as one who has been authorized. For the next 5 minutes each day, declare who you are becoming. Align your mouth with your mantle. Speak like royalty. Think like one who governs atmospheres. Lay your hand on your chest and remind your spirit, I am aligned with heaven. I refuse to return to smallness. There are symbols heaven has placed on you now. A ring of decision on your hand, a belt of truth around your center, a hidden name written on your heart. These are not decorations. These are designations. You have been armed not with retaliation, but with authority. Your past was not punishment, it was tuition. Every betrayal bought you strategy. Every loss gave you precision. Every silence grew your sword. You are not starting over. You are stepping in. Type I am rising in the comments if you are stepping into your new rank. Lesson code 4040 is now unlocking your voice and vision. Now the veil lifts further. The fog that's been hovering around your decisions, your relationships, your emotions, it begins to clear. Not because your situation changed, but because your perspective has been reseated. Heaven is not only protecting you, it's promoting you through prophetic revelation. And Michael, who came to interrupt your spiral, now stands to illuminate the reason behind the warfare. Everything you've endured, the betrayal, the delay, the confusion, the silence, it has not been random. It has not been wasted. It was the dismantling of the false in order to make room for the divine unveiling. The shaking came not to punish but to reveal. What felt like exile was, in fact, preparation for authority. This season is not just about recovery. It is about the activation of a new lane of influence, one you didn't ask for but were anointed to walk in. Heaven has been removing what was hollow, stripping back what was built on performance, false identity, or human approval. That's why relationships shifted. That's why the phone stopped ringing. That's why doors that once flung open now sit silent. Heaven was editing your stage. You have been relocated in the spirit before you will be publicly reintroduced in the natural. Let that settle in you. You have already shifted. The evidence will follow shortly, but heaven is always ahead of schedule in the unseen realm. Look for the markers. Prophetic clues are already forming around you. People you thought were long gone will return with different motives. Conversations that once drained you will now provoke revelation. Unexpected favor will begin appearing in odd places, in brief interactions, in delayed emails that suddenly arrive, in financial shifts that make no earthly sense. These are signs, not coincidences. Some of you will be offered promotions, others will receive dreams about new territory, relocation, or restoration of old relationships, now reborn with purity. The old cycles have been interrupted, and you must not return to them. See the image heaven is releasing, ancient keys turning in rusted locks, scrolls with your name being unsealed in the spirit, ledgers being balanced, debts marked as forgiven, delays stamped released. These are not poetic images. These are divine transactions. Say this now, with your hand on your chest. What was borrowed is being returned. What was delayed is being advanced. These are not declarations of wishful thinking. These are invitations into spiritual agreement. Your name has been spoken in the throne room. Your identity has been reaffirmed. And heaven is now dispatching angels to begin organizing the fulfillment of what was once held back. You are not unknown. You are not forgotten. You are seen. And in the realm of spirit, you are recorded as in position. But hear this warning with love. Entitlement will sabotage what obedience secures. Blessings are not trophies for pain. They are responsibilities for the aligned. If you walk in arrogance, the revelation will become delay again. If you carry offense, the favor will slip through your fingers. To walk humbly, walk gratefully. Walk as one entrusted, not just elevated. When the blessing begins to manifest, write it down. Mark it. Rehearse it before the Lord in praise. It solidifies the shift. Don't just experience the miracle. Document the fulfillment. It becomes a spiritual receipt. It becomes a stone of remembrance. Let it echo in your soul. This unlocking is not random. It is ordained. You've been interrupted because something divine needed your attention. You've been halted because heaven needed your participation. And now, the next chapter begins. Not because you forced it, but because you yielded. Type "I receive the revealing" in the comments if your spirit witnesses this word. Blessing code 5050 is now opening unseen gates before you. If this word has stirred something deep in your spirit, if you feel seen, called, interrupted, and realigned, know this: you are not just receiving, you are part of heaven's ripple effect. This isn't just about you. This is about others hearing the trumpet through your agreement. Every time you support this mission, you help heaven's message reach one more weary warrior, one more silent intercessor, one more chosen vessel. We are not building a platform. We are tending a fire. And when you give, whether through YouTube Super Thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link in the video description, you are sowing into the sound of heaven, interrupting the lost, the overlooked, the betrayed. That seed becomes a sword. That gift becomes oil in another's midnight. Whoever refreshes others will themselves be refreshed. That's not a quote. That's a decree from the Spirit of God. This is your moment to give like someone who's been given to. And heaven does not forget the giver. Give. Partner with the sound. And watch how quickly the harvest returns to your hands. Now that the veil has been torn and the revealing has begun, heaven speaks one final instruction in this dimension. It's time to move. This is not a passive revelation. This is a summons into motion. You are not meant to merely hear. You are meant to activate. Because clarity without action becomes deception. And now that you've seen, now that you've heard, now that Archangel Michael has stood in your room and awakened your knowing, you must respond. Destiny is not a waiting room. It is a war zone. And your obedience is the weapon. Your willingness is the entry point. Your yes, even if whispered in trembling, carries the weight of divine acceleration. So the Spirit says, make 3 declarations. Take 1 step of faith. And surrender 1 thing this week. This is how the lock breaks open. This is how the shift is sealed. Begin your day and end your night with the declaration of alignment. Speak it out loud even if your voice shakes. Declare, I will not go back to who I was. Say, I am walking in divine rhythm. Then end with, heaven knows my name, and my path is already ordered. These are not affirmations, they are activations. Your voice builds the tracks for the chariots of heaven to ride into your reality. But declarations must become decisions. So take a step. Just 1. It could be a reconciliatory message you've delayed. A job application you were too afraid to submit. A conversation you knew you needed to have but kept postponing. A shift in your daily schedule to reflect your new priorities. Don't overthink it. Just move. Destiny does not unfold at the pace of clarity. It unfolds at the pace of courage. And finally, surrender something. Lay something down, a behavior, a fear, a person, a pattern. Ask the Holy Spirit now, what must I give you to go higher? And whatever comes to your mind first, that's the thing. Surrender is not weakness. It is the secret passage to elevation. Heaven does not accelerate those who grip. Heaven accelerates those who release. This next season will not be built on flashes of emotion. It will be built on sustainable obedience. You don't need another confirmation. You need a calendar. You need an action. You need a holy interruption to become a new routine. God is not calling you to sprint. He's calling you to move consistently with intentionality. If the Lord is nudging you to take a step in finances, then give, not out of guilt, but as a gesture of agreement. If the prompt is relational, make the call. If it's vocational, submit the portfolio. If it's spiritual, sign up for that fast. Take that prayer walk. Schedule the silence. This is how heaven moves, one yielded decision at a time. And if your soul needs a visual, then close your eyes and imagine this: a door made of light, a golden handle, you standing before it, heaven waiting on your reach. Now step forward, not in your mind, but in your life. And as you move, know this: angels go before you. Michael has already cleared the hallway. You are not alone. There is a prophetic pronouncement to release as you walk forward. I refuse to stay small. I receive heavenly acceleration. Speak it now. Heaven moves on it. Declare it daily. Let it rewire your brain and recenter your identity. Watch for fatigue. The enemy will not resist your revelation. You will resist your rhythm. He'll send distractions, delay, false fatigue, and artificial obligations. Stay anchored. Rest when needed. But don't stop moving. Even if it's 1 inch at a time, every inch is war in the heavenlies. Celebrate small wins. Heaven does. Every step you take becomes a ripple of light in the spirit. Your faith is not invisible. It's eternal. And it's now in motion. Type "I am in motion" in the comments if your obedience begins today. Blessing code 6060 is now stirring divine movement over your path. While you sleep, the court convenes. While your body rests, heaven is active. What you do not see is no less real. In fact, it is more real than what your eyes can touch. In the stillness of your night, a divine negotiation begins. Not with your voice, but with your alignment. Not with your effort, but with your surrender. And Archangel Michael stands as chief advocate, watching over what is being traded on your behalf. This is the silent exchange in the spirit realm. The moment where heaven begins to return what hell attempted to steal, but only when your posture is one of release. You cannot buy this. You cannot earn it. You must receive it. The transaction is holy, precise, and often invisible until it begins to manifest in signs and whispers. Some of you have felt an ache in your chest at night. Not fear, not fatigue, but a pulling, a tugging. That's the moment your name is being spoken in the courts of heaven. It's the moment when angels gather around records written long before you were born. When reputation is being restored, opportunities are being unblocked, and bondages are being severed at the root. But not for the noisy soul. For the still one. The surrendered one. The one who has yielded the battle to God. This is not theory. It is divine economy. And the exchange is simple. Give heaven your ashes, and it returns beauty. Offer your obedience, and it delivers authority. Surrender your timeline, and it recalibrates your destiny. There are things being embroidered back into your life right now, things you didn't even know were missing. Strengths you had in childhood. Confidence you lost in trauma. Creativity that was buried under survival. Relationships that were never meant to end. These are coming back, reformed, restructured, and resurrected. See this clearly. The realm of spirit operates on intentional rest. Not laziness. Not avoidance. But trust. This is why sleep matters in this season. When you rest in God, you permit the angels to work without interference. Your stillness is a signal of trust, a stamp of agreement that says, I do not need to control this. I believe heaven is moving, and that belief activates divine transactions. I want you to envision it now, the long table in heaven, a massive scroll stretched out, your name etched in gold. Beside it, 2 columns, one labeled loss, one labeled restoration, and Michael, sword sheathed but present, overseeing the tally. One by one, losses are marked. One by one, they are balanced by credits. Divine credits. Favor credits. Time credits. Relational credits. God does not miss a wound. He repays it with interest. But hear me. Do not poison the exchange with bitterness. If you try to take revenge, if you hold on to resentment, if you whisper curses even in your thoughts, you delay what is already yours. Heaven won't trade with hearts that still hold on to vengeance. The currency here is gratitude and release. And when you give it, nothing is withheld from you. Here is what I ask of you tonight. Take 5 minutes in silence. No music. No requests. Just quiet. And imagine tokens being handed back to you. See the faces of people returning. See the contracts being signed. See the closed doors opening again. And then whisper these words, I receive heaven's exchange. I will not fight what is already mine. Keep a journal beside your bed. When you wake, write what you saw. Write what you felt. Write who came to mind. The patterns are the prophecy. The clues are the confirmation. You have not lost. You have not missed it. Heaven's books are accurate, and your restoration has already begun. Type I receive the exchange in the comments if this word belongs to you. Blessing code 7171 is now releasing restoration upon restoration over your nights. There is a justice unfolding now, and it does not look like what the world calls justice. This is not revenge wrapped in righteousness. This is not tit for tat or payback dressed as prophecy. This is divine reversal. This is heaven's kind of justice, where wrongs are not merely exposed, but are used to elevate the righteous. Where lies become ladders, and betrayals become blueprints for a throne you didn't even know was waiting for you. You've cried for justice in silence. You've asked God to intervene. You've wept at altars, prayed through clenched teeth, and waited as others flourished while you were buried in shadows. And heaven heard everywhere. Michael stood beside you through every delay, not as a bystander, but as a witness gathering evidence for a heavenly reversal that will silence every false voice that ever rose against you. Let me declare it clearly. Divine justice does not imitate human retaliation. It restores and multiplies. It makes a mockery of hell's best attempts and uses them as stepping stones for your next season. Where man tried to bury you, God is now building you. Where systems tried to block you, God is now making you essential. This is not imagination. This is not delayed hope. This is the turn of the tide. You've been asking why they lied, why they left, why you were overlooked, why you were betrayed by the ones you fed, by the ones you prayed for, by the ones you let close. And here is heaven's answer. They were the test. The stage was the setup. The silence was the sanctification. The pain was the platform. What was meant for your demotion is now turning into your divine invitation. The very places where you were denied will now have to make room. The very mouths that slandered you will have to testify. Not because you demanded it, but because God is a just judge, and He always finishes what He starts. Right now, in the Spirit, scales are tipping. Words that were spoken in rooms you never entered are now being reversed. Some of you will start receiving apologies from people who once mocked you. Some will be offered positions they were once rejected from. Some will wake up to find their names suddenly favored in conversations they didn't even initiate. These are not coincidences. These are prophetic reversals in motion. And they are happening because you did not strike back. You did not defend your name before it was time. You stayed low when the enemy tried to provoke you high. And now, your silence has echoed louder in the heavens than their noise ever could. When it feels like you're losing, declare this aloud: what was taken will return tenfold. I release vengeance to the one who rights all wrongs. That is your legal decree in the courtroom of heaven. The declaration releases angels. The declaration seals your record with favor. The declaration opens the floodgates of divine compensation. But there's one thing you must do: forgive. Forgiveness is the legal key that unlocks reversal. Without it, you hold your own chains. Without it, you stay tied to the ones who wronged you. When you forgive, you don't let them off the hook. You let heaven take over. You transfer the case from your heart to God's court, and Michael becomes your defender. Keep a gratitude list in this season. Honor the process. Expect the turnaround. Expect it in ways you didn't see coming. Expect it in whispers. Expect it in reversals that feel too exact to be random. And know this: you will not leave this season empty-handed. Heaven will repay you in a way that vindicates your calling without embarrassing your enemies. Because real justice restores with dignity. Rest now. The scales are tipping in your favor. Type, "The reversal is mine," in the comments if your justice is in motion. Blessing code 8181 is now balancing the scales over your name. This is the final moment. The hush after the thunder. The holy stillness that follows heaven's descent. If you've stayed with this word, if your spirit has remained open and your heart stayed tender, then hear this clearly. You were not interrupted by accident. You were intercepted by heaven. Archangel Michael did not appear because you were weak. He came because you were chosen to be awakened, preserved, and positioned for divine release. You were interrupted because something in your spirit was about to be misaligned. And before you stepped into another cycle, before you agreed to another counterfeit door, before you whispered yes to another voice that wasn't sent, heaven stepped in and said, "No more." This was not a detour. This was divine correction, divine covering, divine commissioning. Every section you've heard, every sentence that rang louder than the others, every image that stirred something ancient in you, it wasn't just content. It was a summons, an encounter, a realignment that eternity will remember. Now remember this: Michael protects, but he also prepares. And today, he came to do both. To surround you with sword and shield, and to push you into the fullness of your call. You are not who you were. You have been marked, set apart. Your territory in the Spirit has been expanded. Your authority has been increased. You've been told to be still. You've been told to act. You've been told to document the divine. to seal your next season with declarations, to expect reversal, to anoint your atmosphere, to walk as if you are already sent. And now, your obedience will make room for what God has been waiting to release. Let this blessing wash over your spirit now, in the name of the Most High, and by the authority entrusted to Archangel Michael. Let every delay be reversed. Let every false attachment be cut. Let clarity come like morning fire. Let your house be filled with the presence of angels. Let your dreams speak in layers of revelation. Let your feet step only where favor awaits. May your name be brought up in rooms heaven designed for your influence. May your tongue speak only what heaven has authorized. And may your heart no longer chase what God has already denied. You are seen. You are covered. You are sent. Speak this aloud wherever you are. I am sealed. I am seen. I am sent. My season moves. Whisper it again. I am sealed. I am seen. I am sent. My season moves. Your destiny has not passed you by. Your alignment has not been missed. This interruption was always an invitation. The flashing screen. The title that arrested your scrolling. The presence you felt. The chills. The knowing. They all led you here. To this doorway. To this next step. Keep your eyes on the small signs. They will whisper confirmation. Guard your heart. It is the gate of alignment. Move slowly. Obedience is more powerful than speed. And remember, heaven never interrupts without reason. Every time Michael moves, it's because something in the earth needs to come back into place. That something was you. And so now, in love, in power, and in truth go. Walk like one heaven interrupted. Speak like one who has seen behind the veil. And rise like one who has been handed a new scroll. Your life was just restructured. Your silence was just recorded. And your name is still echoing in the throne room. Type I am sent in the comments if you receive this final charge. Blessing code 9999 is now sealing your new season. If this message reached into your spirit and shifted something, then let your response become part of someone else's miracle. When you sow into this message, through YouTube membership, super thanks, or directly through the PayPal link in the video description, you're not giving to a channel. You're sowing into a divine interruption. This isn't a platform. It's a prophetic dispatch center. Every seed you plant helps this voice reach the one who's drowning in silence. Your giving becomes the sound that interrupts someone else's delay. You refreshes others will himself be refreshed. That's not poetic. It's prophetic. When you partner with heaven's voice, you unlock heaven's hand. You open rivers. You release rolls. You fund breakthrough in places your feet may never walk, but your faith can reach. So now, give boldly. Give intentionally. Give as one who has been interrupted, wakened, and sent. Heaven remembers givers, but it always repays.